Oh, this is a great start as I hit record. Welcome, everyone, to a special interview episode of FMC. You know me, Jeremy. You know SV3. You know Cher. Paulie and Cara from the challenge are here. They're very dark in the light. The light does not like them.
The light's not working. We spent about 15 minutes prior to this show actually starting trying to figure out how to make the light work. It's just not working.
Cara's gonna fight the lights,
Cara's gonna
lights in the house.
Start punching the lights.
Look at it. You can't even tell I'm here. You wouldn't if I was here.
You gotta see through the light.
I wouldn't even know I was here.
Emerge. Enter into the chat. Enter into the chat.
Summer. I'm wearing a white
bra.
Oh
my God, where did she come from?
So if you wanted to wear it, just look for the white bra.
There you go.
There it is.
And the glove.
That's it.
Besides being submerged in the darkness, how are you guys?
We're great. I mean, the lighting situation, I guess we haven't figured out.
I mean, we could just
living
go
in this house for 2 years.
We could restart and go on from our phone, but we could.
I don't know if the phone will help.
The phone will be better.
We're here, but we're good. You know.
Well,
I need a better computer.
It's the photographer me. I'm literally dying.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not a photographer, so therefore the lighting's not affected.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's not worried about it.
Tomorrow.
It's fine.
But you have to use the new one.
Okay.
I want to know, first off, what a lot of challenge fans want to know is, when are you guys coming back? Because the show has not quite been the same without you guys. When are you coming back?
It's a hard watch right now.
It is.
No, this is a tough question to answer because we hear this all the time, and I know for a fact that when we were there filming, a lot of input does go into consideration to like the network and the production company and all this stuff. But we've been seeing the same feedback for the past 2 years, past like 3 seasons. And, we're waiting, we've had a lot of conversations. The conversations are happening. It's kind of like a timing thing. Like we're really busy, like with our businesses, and they're filming not just the flagship show, but All Stars and now the CBS version, and we don't really operate on that schedule where it's like, hey, we need you in a week. It's like, wait, hold on a second. You guys know well in advance when we're filming, but we hear everybody. We're ready to come back. It's just a matter of timing, and Lord knows it's a matter of when the Vacation Alliance wants to finally be broken up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they like you said, they've got the main show, they've got CBS. Paul, you've got the CBS ties with Big Brother. They've got All Stars. I think Cara, you are absolute legend. I think the greatest female player of all time. So you guys should fit somewhere in the challenge universe. And like we said, no offense to the show, I still love it, but you guys brought a certain level with competition and drama that the challenge is kind of known for and has been very missed since you've left. So it's good that there's been conversations, because I was wondering about that. Is like, has anybody reached out to anybody? Has there been talks at all? Or because of everything that kind of happened and went down, are they just like, no, we're going to distance ourselves from Paulie and Cara for the time being?
I mean, nothing went down to distance us. It was, I think what it comes down to now, I think a lot of people are just playing to be cast again. And in order to do that, you have to play. I'm not going to say anything. You can just watch the show and see how people play and what you're supposed to do. And we did not do those things. Certain people did not make it to the end when we were there. So
we have a lot of conversations asking us to work with certain individuals. And we didn't want to.
I'm too stubborn.
Here's the thing. Like when the game's over, we leave the game in the game, like where it happens. Like I come from athletics. She's done the challenge for like 10 years. With me, it's like, as soon as the game's done, you shake hands, win or lose. Like that's it. You're not going and like doing all this extra stuff. A lot of the people that we went against in the show, it was mainly, because we would go at them from a strategic standpoint at first. But honestly, if you bring the game outside of the game, well, then I'm going to make sure that you're targeted first, because when you do certain things outside of the game, I don't appreciate that, because the game should be left in the game. So when you start taking certain character shots, when you start coming at her personally, me personally, our relationship dynamic personally, I'm like Michael Jordan. I'm like, listen, I took that personal. You know what I mean? It's really personal. And when we go in the game, it's not this whole, yay, we're all friends, let's all drink. Hey, I didn't mean anything by that tweet. I didn't mean anything by that interview. I'm like, oh yeah, no, like you're going home. Like, I'm going to make your life miserable here so that you either want to quit or you want to, go into the elimination and lose because I make your life so miserable.
I'll be honest, my life, at the height of my career, just look at who I was friends with or who I was working with. And that's when I was getting the most opportunities and everything. And it was once I started, I think, seeing, reading through the lines or standing my ground or, just feeling more confidence in myself, my own abilities, that I'm here. So,
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
God damn you, confident women! How dare you?
How dare them?
Supposed to play, and that will help you become a regular, I think.
Well, from conversations that I've had with castmates on the past 3 seasons, they have this mindset where they're like, no, don't get me wrong, like we have our beefs, but we all feel like if we work together, like we're all just in it to get this money. And I'm like, motherfucker, there's only one winner and they get a lot of money. I'm like, the rest of y'all are getting paid pennies to the dollar. Like, what are you talking about?
But they get to come back and do another season. So I think what it comes down to is, like, a lot of people realize it's like, do I do this move and secure myself a better chance at winning in a final, or do I do these other moves that are going to at least ensure that I'll be on the next season? Do you know what I mean? And so a lot of people play the long game. It's like they just want to be on season after season, and you can't hate the players for that. Honestly, they're good at like tucking their tail between their legs and do what they're supposed to. And we are extremely stubborn, and we know we should do certain things, and we don't.
Well, I don't know. Like, I felt going into the show, like my mentality going into it was, I have to make it as far as possible every single season. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not getting called back. I said, if I can make it to the end every single time, through competition, naturally, there's going to be drama. Like, I don't need to go in there with a plan of like, who am I going to start drama with? What's my storyline going to be? Who am I going to hook up with? What am I going to do? Like, all these things. It's like, go in there, compete. I've played sports long enough to know that, like, there's rivalries, there's all this other stuff. People legitimately hate each other when they play. And then when it's done, it's done. And I think that the mindset has completely shifted. And I felt as though I wanted to, like, when I look at what the challenge used to be, and I'm like, all right, what made it the golden era of the challenge? When I came in, I was like, all right, well, if that was the golden era, what can I do to try and push the needle forward and create another golden era of the challenge? And with doing that, a lot of OGs had a lot of things to say. They, in my humble opinion, I was just like, listen, you guys had your time. You did what you needed to do in order to get the show where it needed to go. And now you need to trust that there's a new crop that can carry it forward. And I feel as though that was met with a lot of combativeness from a lot of these OGs. And they didn't realize that all I wanted to do was carry on what they had already done. And I feel like there's more respect in that than not. And it seems as though they've now wanted to take the reins back and make sure that they have competitors who are not good around them in order to boost them up, to make it seem like they still got it. But I was there, guys. I can tell you firsthand, they don't still got it. Like, and now get it. I haven't won a final. I have no room to talk, right? They've won and done everything they did. That'd be like Patrick Mahomes talking smack on Brady.
But you don't waste a move.
Yeah, but I'm not going to waste a move. I'm not going to sit there and be like, holy crap, Johnny Bananas, 6-time champ, now 7-time champ. he could go into this elimination and go home.
Possibly take the chance.
I'm going to take the shot right then and there.
Take the shot, but that's that's not a. Don't do that.
A lot of the people play kind of a scary game. They're like, okay, veterans. The veterans are just gonna coast to the end and everything, and they've switched up the formats of okay, you got to win an elimination to make it to the final and everything. They've tried to do what they can to switch up the format to where everybody kind of has to go down into an elimination if they want to make a final and things like that. Like, so what have you made of these changes, assuming you've kept up with it? Like, what have you made of these changes to try to almost get a little bit more competition in there? Because there was a time period of where we'd have an episode and it'd just be straight drama. Like maybe you get a daily challenge, but otherwise it's 90 minutes of drama.
And the last season to do that was you guys in like War of the Worlds 2. And that was just that's what I wanted to ask Paulie is that like, did you go in with the mind state? I know you didn't want to waste a move, but you really like surpassed Bananas as the heel, the bad guy of the challenge. And that made for the drama. It made it so entertaining to watch. And it's just been devoid of that ever since. So what was kind of your mind state going in and how did you think about the reception to that?
I don't think you were the bad guy though.
So after
he defended,
you did come
me.
off a little bit unlikable, but it was entertaining.
That was you gotta understand. It's a TV show, right?
But
you have to turn your personality up to a 10.
Second, we were fucked from the first. The thing is he pulled his moves too soon. If he just rode out playing the underdog and let everybody attack him, he'd be the hero. But what he did was as soon as he had a chance, because we were going to work with Laurel, we were going to work with Johnny, we were going to say, hey, we're a strong freaking team. The point is to win every challenge. The point is to bring our team to the end so that we can win. And that was the point until they made the move against Wes. They made the move against Johnny and Laurel through the daily challenge to get rid of me. Yeah. Right away, they wanted to get rid of me. So they made the first move. Paulie finished it. And not to mention, while they were on the bus, they're completely like dogging us the whole time on the bus to the challenge before they threw it. So they were bragging about what they were going to do. It's like we're supposed to be a team, but you can't wait to dismantle that team, tear us apart. And then because he made the move, executed it, and won and carried all of his alliance to the end, he's the bad guy. We should have just let him attack us for a little longer before we struck back, I guess.
So I could care less about whether I come across as the underdog or the the victim or whatever that shit. Like a lot of castmates play into that because they literally go. It makes me sick to my stomach. They go into these things like some of the stuff that they say, just being like, "Oh, I wonder if I do this. Like, I wonder how it's going to look." Or like people will try and use like the interviews when they come out, being like, "Oh my god, like these questions are being asked in the interviews. Like, you should really work with me if you want to get a good edit." So me, after Final Reckoning, it was what it was, right? Like the first elimination I did, the bands were messed up. I was really struggling with Natalie as a partner. But eventually I was able to help build her into like somebody that wasn't getting intimidated when we would go to the elimination ground and everybody would be yelling at us. And she turned into a monster that season, was able to go, but every challenger basically was like, he would never last in a real season of the challenge. He's weak. He's this, he's that. So I sit down with producers after Final Reckoning and I say, hey, what do you guys want to see from me this next season, War of the Worlds 1? And they say, just show us that you can last in this type of game. So I go, all right, going to War of the Worlds 1. It fits my format style perfectly. I win 7 dailies, which is the most that anybody's ever won in a season, like partner and singular. And once again, then the stigma was, oh, well, like you did. And I'm like, whatever, you didn't make the final. I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, whatever, you didn't throw yourself down into elimination, which, truth be told, I was approached the night before the elimination by that person begging to not throw myself down there because they were injured. So like sitting there being like, hey man, you're a warrior. You don't want to go against me like injured. And I'm like, sure. Then I sit down with producers after that, and I'm like, what do you want to see from me this next season? And they say, well, we've seen you compete. We want to see a social game and a strategy. Show us that you have that so that we know that you're like a complete player. So I said, okay. And then I go into War of the Worlds 2. I see the writing on the wall almost immediately. You got to understand these people are not intelligent humans. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. It's just like they're really not smart. Like IQ level, very low. Also, they're very insecure people. They lack confidence. Like you can walk in, and as long as you even fake confidence, you will be able to convince them to do things that aren't in their best interest. So I saw all the moves that were lining up to happen, but I'm the type of person where like I will give you the rope, and you could either like use that rope to help, pull the cart, or you can use that rope to hang yourself. I'm gonna let you do either thing. So I gave the other side the rope, and like Carr mentioned, they took it, and instead they made the moves that they made. They made it very miserable for us in those first 2 weeks, like the banter, the smack talk, all this stuff. And I remember one day I stood up on a bus and I said, all of you are going to go home. I said, I'm going to flip this game on its head. I said, and when each and every one of you walks up to me and begs me to not throw you into an elimination, when you cry, when you fucking show me those tears, I said, I'm going to laugh in your face, and then I'm going to throw you into the elimination and you're going to go home. And they all laughed, and they all were like, oh, yeah, whatever, fuck off, we got the numbers. And then it started happening in real time, and then like clockwork, they all came up to me, how could you do this? Please give me a chance. And I'm like, you're not getting any chances. Suffer the way that you wanted to make me suffer. Honestly, it's fucked up to say, but when I go in and I play these games, I want to instill so much psychological damage to these people's heads that when they come back and they have to go against me, they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Do I even want to come back and play the game?
What?
I just want animals. Like Jordan, I wasn't able to break him for an entire season. Therefore, he has my respect. Everybody else broke like fragile little fucking things.
I do want to ask, you mentioned the psychological warfare, and I brought this up on our podcast last week. When you tell Brad, hey, your girl is talking to this person, and the camera goes to him, and the look on his face where he looks like he is regretting every decision he ever made in life, this to me is one of the greatest challenge moments in history. And you are the most likable person in this moment. Like I know if someone tells me this, I'm probably looking like Brad is looking. This is one of the greatest moments though, because the look on it, like you mentioned psychologically damage somebody, and that's what you did in that moment. Like, did you have that in your head going into that elimination? Like, I'm going to say this if something happens here. Like, how does that moment get created?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had that card in my pocket. I was obviously anticipating on winning, and then like walking in and just dropping that bomb like immediately, and then just watching all the pieces like fall. I think the fact that like I sat there, Natalie's hammer's still in the wall, so obviously I'm clearly frustrated. And they're obviously heckling me because it's like, oh, you lost, dude. And I'm like, all right, yeah, bro. Like, my hammer was out in like a second. Like, Natalie's hammer's still in the wall. But, at least my girl wasn't like banging somebody in the redemption house. Like, enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from New Jersey, so like smack talk is like a thing. And like, you need to like be able to not like whoever loses their emotions first, like ends up losing, right? But there's ways to like almost deliver messages that are like really sellable. And she was banging him, so like I wasn't really lying, but like I'm not gonna withhold that information because I want to like, I hope the vets like me if I like play up to their needs. I was like, no, I'm in the redemption house because of you motherfuckers. I don't like you, so I'm gonna say this, and then I'll see what happens afterwards.
It's fun to watch Paulie in action because he does say things, he does do things like nobody. There is not one person in that house that can sway him before he walks into the house or during being in the house. Like, Paulie's always going to play his game, and at least when you're watching everything he does, you're going to be entertained and you know that it's real. It's not let's fake fight or oops, I accidentally knocked you out of the show, but let's just go party and vacation together, and we go back, we'll be best friends again, and we'll look out for each other. It's like when you drop him into a house, bombs are going to go off, and you're going to want to watch. So right now, it really is. I haven't kept up with it. I just know it's I've been hearing the same feedback. People have been really asking for us back. And it's just best friends. And I guess people want something more real.
Kumbaya.
Yeah. So I feel bad for the fans for sure. I know that the challenge is always fantastic. The challenge is they always, you know, the formats, everything. TJ's like a legend. But I think the people that are going on to it now are not doing the show or the fans justice. I think that having so many new people that have never even seen the challenge, that don't even know what they're in for, that'll just go in and quit. I think it's a missed opportunity for people that really want to be there and really actually want to compete. But, you know, I'm just saying.
It's just like, you know, you hear some OGs talk about it all the time where they're like, we put our producer cap on. But I don't think they do. I think it's like, I think they serve their own self-interests. Yeah. And they're not actually serving the self-interest of the greater good of the show. Like me watching as a critic, even the skull twist, like, was a missed opportunity. Like, they actually allowed people to, like, beg to get thrown in to get their skull and listen to them.
He told me that.
Like, if somebody came to me and was like, hey, man, I'm really trying to get my skull before this final, I'd be like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll throw you in. And then I'd throw their best friend in that already had a skull and keep them from getting a skull. You know what I mean? So that, like, if I can make it to the end and have, like, 10 people with no skulls, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to purge 10 people before a final. So phenomenal.
All great ideas.
But these people are idiots.
The challenge is killing it. The castmates are ruining a beautiful thing, that are not taking advantage of all the little things that could make the challenge even greater. And I hate to hear about it from people.
I mean,
I have to agree with Paulie though.
Most storylines are faked. It's getting out of hand.
Like, don't do this to the challenge. Like, the challenge is that's my home.
If you're playing the long game to, like, get casted, there ain't gonna be a long game when nobody's watching the show.
I'm angry. I'm angry with the fans. I think these people are really not doing the fans or the show or the format or anything the justice that it could be. I think you need to bring. You gotta shake it up a little bit. At least, you know, when I'm there, like, everything I do, 100% real. Like, I react. I'm a really bad actress. You know what I'm feeling. You know what I'm thinking. I just say it.
We see it on your face.
And I'm not there to play best friends. Clearly, I want to make it to the end. I want to win. I hate that I've been to the end so many times and haven't, you know, clinched another final. That's some shit right there. But, you know, I fight. I want to get some more eliminations under my belt. It's been a while. I don't want to be. I think other people have caught my record now. That's a problem. But it's sad. It's sad. A lot of fans have been messaging us daily. I want to see the challenge be what it's meant to be without these people are ruining it. I swear. Hate to see it.
I think they just cringe.
A lot of
on social media, they're everybody called us cringe because we like to have sex a lot in the house and like talk about it. But it's like, I get it.
That was a new relationship type thing. I'm not going to want to be like, Paulie, let's bang. Okay, that was.
We don't need to anymore.
Cringe.
Listen,
it was the newlywed period.
New boyfriend, leave me alone.
It's one of the great first day moments, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna have sex there. We're gonna have sex there. We're gonna have sex there.
I remember people tried to, like, sex shame us. I was like sitting there being like, "You're shaming us for saying we want to have sex all the time. What the fuck is going on in your life?"
Yeah, it's because
what is your marriage like?
What is your relationship like?
You know, like, people are sitting there being like, "Oh, look at them saying they're gonna have sex," and be like, as opposed to fucking other people. Like, what?
Fighting? Like, you want to?
My bad.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I thought
I
it was
have
great.
to agree with Cara on that, though, because when your first season of the challenge, I was in high school. And for me, then it was like, I scheduled my work schedule around being able to watch the challenge. Like, I had to watch it every week, and DVR was not a thing. So I had to watch it every week, and, like, that was my show. And now I'll go, like, a month without watching it and then just fast forward through half the episode.
We don't know
catch
who
up on what's going on
at this point.
No.
Like,
I don't watch any of the other shows.
They bring in these new people from other shows and, like, okay, who is this? And the people that they have return, like Josh or Fessy were just like, I don't know about these people.
We have the same reaction to those names.
Yes.
We don't know if they should be back every single time. Like, what are we doing?
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. I actually haven't seen Fessy on TV. I haven't been able to catch up on the show since I haven't been on it. So I only know of what I hear from people. And Josh, as having done a season with him, I don't know any of the new people. I think I get really sad for the most part when people come on, like I said, from other countries that have never seen the show, and that will literally, when you haven't seen the show and you don't know what to expect, or you don't want it, or you're just showing up to be on TV and get a paycheck, like, you're not going to fight. And part of what makes people, rootable is the people that don't quit, that give everything they have because they want to make things so bad. I've got, injuries still from not quitting and keep the way I keep pushing. And it's like, these people come on and it's like, you have genuine fans of the show, maybe athletic fans of the show that might be great to see on and compete. And Paulie would love to have like an actual challenge fan on the show that he could be like, you know what, you love this show, you want to do it justice, you want to compete, like, fuck yeah, I'll mentor you and I will help you to the end. Clear out the old people, you know what I mean? Like,
I just want good competitors. That's just it. But I mean, people go on now because they want to be famous, they want the clout. When they used to rip each other's heads off for like a Sony Walkman, that's like a prize. And it's like
a T-Mobile sidekick.
There's nothing like
for some burgers.
Yeah, there's nothing that happens. And like now they have all this CBS channels, so that's great. Take everybody that's from Europe, put them on the UK one. Take everybody that's from like the Australasia area and put them on the Australia one. Take everybody that's from the South American area, put them on the Argentina one. And then if you want to put Mexico, Canada, like the American ones on the USA one, do that. You have that option.
I want to see America on the
no
challenge
reason
again.
Why any foreigners should be on the flagship show anymore.
Can we like?
No
I
excuse.
want to see America on the challenge again. I want it to be like we're proud to be from here. Like, let's kick some butt. Like, we've got Texas in the house, we've got Florida in the house, we've got Montana in the house. Like, bring people from everybody.
Yeah.
Like, bring us. Keep it like in home. We've got so many international stuff. Like, let's.
But make it the global challenge because, like, all the winners get to compete against each other from those ones. So,
can the actual challenge be America? And like, can we have an American version that goes against like globally? Then the winners of that will go against Canada. Will go against South America, UK. Like, let's bring it back. It was road rules. It was real world. That was the roots. There was real stories there. There was. Like it was so real, like that's what I'm rooting for.
So I'm a soccer player. So like anybody that plays in the CONCACAF Cup can't play in the UEFA Champions League. Anybody that plays in the UEFA Champions League can't play in the CONCACAF Cup, right? South America has its own cup, right? So like I think things need to be separate and each thing can still draw its own attention.
Yeah.
And then you have the World Cup, which draws massive attention. So you can have all these countries doing whatever. And then let them come hang with us.
Stage.
Like this is where it originated. Other countries should have to prove that they can win their version of it first in their country, and then come and beat us. And that's just my opinion on it. And like if you're going to be pulling from CBS, pull good people. There's like polarizing characters from Survivor, The Amazing Race, Big Brother. Don't give us like the bottom feeder, like people bringing nothing. Like nobody wants to watch them. It's just it.
I just know because of what they started doing the challenge and bringing all these international people, it was for the bigger picture, which was bringing it to an international scale, which they have. And now I feel like the challenge should be, like I said, the challenge should be America, and then let us battle against all these other countries now that they'll have their own show and their own thing. Mm-hmm. And that's even more fun and more badass. And that's a very exciting direction of the show. And I think with the installment of All Stars, you now have the option to test the waters with the older people to see who can still, somewhat have it to maybe cross it over. Like, let's be honest, nobody wants to see like old, out of shape people just injure themselves. Like, sure. I'll just call it like it is, right? Like, if you're about to come on a competition show
and you have not gotten yourself in a little bit of shape, like drop a couple of lbs, you know the camera's going to put on 10 pounds, like when you're standing, like if you don't shave off those 10 pounds before the camera adds it back on, and then you're injuring yourself, what are you doing?
It's a great concept. Like, it's just some people brag about.
You can pull the people that do well, like the Mark Longs,
yeah,
who still clearly are in shape
Derek.
and got it. Pull them over to the flagship.
Yeah,
that's how they do.
I think it's all a great idea. It's all great formats. It's all fun. Everything's awesome. I think I'm sad. It's sad to me when people are given an amazing opportunity, like being on the challenge, and they take it for granted. You've got people that literally brag about, yeah, I'm injured, or yeah, I don't even work out. I'm just going to go and I'm going to drink and I'm just going to like collect that paycheck. And it's like, that's a spot that I could have, you know,
Right.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't take it for granted. And I do fight, and I make the challenge their money's worth by making it to the end basically every single time. It's like, and then you have these other people that are just taking their paycheck to like fuck off. And you're basically, it's a slap in the face to what the challenge is, and it hurts my heart.
And also just from the messiness of War of the Worlds 1 and War of the Worlds 2, you have like an atomic bomb of explosive entertainment just waiting.
Yep.
Just waiting. Like the fans never got the part 2 of what's going to happen if both of those alliances are in the same season, but it's a different format, individual.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Basically, all I've seen on social media is those people who didn't work with us, who had so much to say because they didn't make a final that season, just be on social media chirping. Paulie Cara sucks. Paulie Cara suck. Oh, Total Madness had so many viewers, not because it was the only thing on TV in the middle of a pandemic where they even canceled sports being on TV, but because Paulie and Cara weren't on the show. So you're that bold that you want to say those things. You want to constantly throw digs in every interview you do. You want to chirp that stuff, thinking that, you know, we were never coming back. There's so much gold just there for when we do come back. Now you're going to have to back up everything that you said. Like these people who've been making finals would never make finals if we were there. Like even the best of the best people. I'm sorry, Johnny never made a final while we were there.
Which is
he
the
didn't.
problem. So
now the cast has basically been like, sir, go to the final, sir. We'll take you there. Same with CT. Everybody's like, CT, please, we'll take you to this final, dude. Just like, it's like fucking what?
I would like to put out there.
What is this cast doing? Like the money's fucking real.
We love Johnny. He's great. You want to face him in a final. So the next time we go on, we absolutely would not put Johnny in an elimination. You will.
Like I said, I love what Johnny and CT have
We will
brought.
hold his hand to the final.
We will hold his hand. We'll bring
All right,
him.
we'll not take shots at Johnny and CT.
Go after them.
If anybody wants to run this back, I promise I will take them to the end.
Want to beat them in the final.
Right,
So
exactly. I want to beat them in the final.
That's
I'll
it.
clip that part and tag
I don't
Roman
want to
Murray.
eliminate them
Absolutely
for the
not.
final. I want to beat them in the final.
In the final.
You know, where they've done it so many times that they probably know each and every final like the back of their hand.
Yep.
And nothing thrown their way will throw them off at all. I'm going to bring them to the finals and go against them. Even though thinking I was safe with Dad Bod CT and he pulled a win out of his ass, I should totally, now that he's in shape, bring him to the final.
Exactly.
What a plan.
It's great.
We want them to make it to another final. So, well, that's what we're going to do.
You know what, Johnny? If you want 10 wins, CT, if you want 10 wins, if you guys want to do the whole Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire battle to see who's going to get the most home runs, I'll help get you guys. I'll pad your stats. I'll help you guys get to the finals. I'll lose.
My record in the final hasn't been great, so you might as well.
Hard to get us out before the final, but we'll lose in the final for you. I'll be the Dan Marino of the challenge. All the stats, no rings. Like you guys, Tom Brady and whoever else is close to Tom Brady. Nobody.
Joe Montana. Yeah.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
You know, Terry Bradshaw.
See, you guys, I mean, Cara mentioned that like Paulie's not the villain, and I think Paulie, you turn it up to 10 or 11 or 12 or 20 when it comes to being on the show. I like your mindset of it's competition. We're here to beat each other. I'm here to win. And through that, you create your own drama. Because a lot of it's a lot of social media. They're throwing up tweets on screens. Like, I don't have time to keep up with all this. All right, I got a life. I can't read tweets all day.
I don't think most people do.
Yes, like I don't have time for that. But Paulie just became this larger than life character, this villain on the show, just by competing and then just talking trash in the house. And that is something that's missing. Is there's no capitalization on that because, like you said, everybody is just kind of friends with everybody, and the drama that is created is through tweets that, wait, what did I tweet about you? Okay, yeah, I got to remember this, and now I have to play off of that. Or, oh yeah, we don't like each other because I tweeted this 5 months ago, but we've been hanging out on vacation this other time. But you have the right mindset to me because I think the challenge is like a fifth major sport because you win titles, you win competitions, and then there's storylines. It's like the NBA, right? Like there's still storylines in the NBA. There's drama in the NBA, but then you also, who the best is based on a championship. And that you're right, like that is missing. And it's missing, one, because of people get along, two, because they just cycle people in and out. And you would think, right, people don't like Paulie and Cara. We need villains. Let's bring them in here and we can edit. They can be the villains. We can do what they want. But
I'll take
at
least
we have some conflict there that they try to make their Fessy, bless him, like this is our big villain. He's talking all this game. Fessy is like a dollar store Paulie, and that might offend you. I'm sorry. But like that is very much like
that's disrespect to Paul.
I know.
Who's the new me?
There's not one. They try to make someone every season.
They're trying.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask you, Cara, because you started off on the challenge in 2009, and we have literally kind of seen you play every single role. Like your first season, you're out the first elimination, then you become like this underdog, then you came back. I think you were a replacement in Rivals 2, and you just came back with the guns out.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
I was a replacement twice. Battle of the Seasons. I don't even.
Yes.
I think they weren't even going to have a fresh meat team, but something happened. And then they weren't even going to have me. They were going to have Carly. So I got Carly's old t-shirt. So by the grace of the luck of the challenge gods, I was blessed with a lot of chances to come back. And it's really cool. And it is a blessing for people to see the growth and the change of someone. Like fans got to see my entire 20s. Like literally I was from 23 to 33, I think was the last time I was on a show. You got to see that now those years are like, from the
very formative,
learning who you're becoming. Yes. So people have seen my worst, my best, how I evolved. People who just jump on the last season have no idea. So I'm really thankful to the fans that are like, hey, you got to watch her earlier seasons. Then you'll know why she became the way she did. I definitely built up a tough exterior. I went through years of an abusive relationship on the show. And then when I finally put my foot down on that, so that affected a lot of my behaviors and how I was. And not only that, but the way the casts responded and to any little thing, when you're in an abusive relationship, they'll do something shitty and then they'll do something nice. So you forgive them because you don't want to think you're crazy or maybe you did something wrong. And like the shit that I've been through and the excuses that have been made for these men, and the way that I would tolerate more from other male castmates because of the relationship I was in and because of how I was gaslit. So I tolerated and accepted a lot of behaviors from the other men on the show that I shouldn't have. And that eats away at you and that builds up a lot. And then I think my last season, I was just I think that was my breaking point. And I think people definitely saw me at my worst. I probably should have taken that season off for sure, looking back on it. I was quiet for ever since I've been off pretty much. Looking back at someone who did actions to me, getting calls backs, looking back at certain other men, the male that I was in the long abusive relationship with, like he was getting calls. He didn't quite make it on, but it was like, me being the bad guy, I'm like, I was not. Like, it takes a few years when you step away from something like that to like stand up and be like, I wasn't the fucking bad guy. The people that gaslit me are the bad guys. The people that made excuses for these behaviors because the men that did these things are winners, or the men that did these things are charming, or they're funny. It's okay. This guy's funny. So what he did to you is not so bad. But the things that happened to me would not be okay had it happened to a friend, a sister, anybody. If I saw things or if I knew things, I would be the first one to stand up for other people. So I'm just saying that last season of me was my point from years of shit that I've been through. And I'm thankful at the end of the day, not to make this sappy, but that this man, from people jumping on him and saying he was with me for clout, there's been no clout for more of the relationship that we've been in than when we were on TV. There's no clout left. Like, I'm here without it. And he has seen me at that breaking point. And then I started to explain all the shit that I've been through different people, which caused a lot of his anger and him pulling a lot of the moves he did. He knew of the shit that I've been through, but it's my story to tell. So he kind of reined back, but you'll see like who he went after and whatnot. It's because he knows a lot of things.
A target specific men for a reason.
So for a reason. And he has been with me through a lot of shit. So everybody can take that clout and shove it up their ass.
Well, I never understood the clout thing anyway, because on MTV, like, you are the name, but like coming from CBS and coming from Big Brother, I mean, me and my brother are like
that too.
Two of the largest names in the Big Brother franchise. Like,
that's true.
You know, the Calafiore brothers.
So anything,
right?
I got up there. Clout off him.
No. I'm saying, like, the people who were like trying to say clout, I'm like looking at them from an MTV standpoint, being like, who the fuck are you? You know, like, even on the challenge, you were not like the character,
right?
At all. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, I was like, well, no, we make sense. Like, she's a powerhouse. I'm a powerhouse. I kind of like that. I'm not going to go and date a Nani. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. Like, when I look at it, I'm like, good competitor. I like that. That's hot. The other females, not so much. I'm like, it's not, I don't really want to have to be dragging fucking people the whole time. You know what I mean? She could take care of herself.
Anyway, a lot of that time away, I've definitely seen a lot of my actions, and the way that I became, especially down at the hill, the bottom of that hill there on my last season, was definitely a culmination of dealing with the gaslighting of, you know, and the abusive relationships that I've been in, and the shit that I accepted and made excuses for that I damn well shouldn't have. So I'm in a different space now, definitely a lot stronger, definitely still have that wall up. If I ever went back, nobody would be able to say a word to me, because I know who I am and what I've been through, and I will shut everybody down in 2 seconds. So I hope I get that chance.
I think for new fans who maybe have only seen you for the last couple of seasons, or have only seen, since Paulie arrived, basically, is everything that happened on the show, everything that was said on the show, the fallout from that's y'all's personal stuff, but there was a lot of fallout from all of that. And if they kept up with that, they might have one opinion of you guys. And now it's been a few years now. You guys, you're here. You seem very happy, and I love that. I'm a person who loves love, so I'm happy that you guys are happy. And I think those fans who still watch it deserve a chance to be like, oh, this is a different side of Paulie. This is a different side of Cara that we saw here, and they didn't come off as the best people in the world, but now they've worked through things, and now they're good, and everything is working out for them. Like, as a person who loves love, I'm getting married in October. I want y'all to have, thank you. I want y'all to have like a redemption almost on the show of, hey, they're in a good place from what we remember and from what we read about them after the show.
And they're still together, like nobody thought you guys would be.
We are stubborn.
Still here.
He's my teammate, my life teammate is how I look at it.
Would you guys only go on the show if you can go on together?
You know, I mean, if they were to throw me on All Stars and him on the main show, or me on another show and
me
him
on CBS, there's just way too many different things like for us to sit there and be like, we're all right individually. It's like, are we though? Because like there's 3 different running shows.
I'll be honest, it would be great to be on a season and have people actually You know, not to say I don't want somebody to send us home, but nobody's ever sent us home. Who sent him home? Himself, right? He's the only one that sent himself home, and I've made it to finals since I've been with him. So it would actually be a humbling or a learning experience if someone could actually pull the trigger.
That's what we were
maybe
trying.
Send us
that's
home.
what we were trying to
we're
go for.
We're open to it, and
people didn't like it.
But other than that, because people like, oh, you know, because people have seen us make it to the end of every season we're on. I mean, whose fault is that? Because we played a good game, because we were strong, because we had a social game, like, so we made it to the end together every time. Other couples don't, so people see them separately. I personally would love, and I know he gets mad at me for that. He's like, no, I want to work with you. I want to like be a power couple till the end. I would love to see him do a season. I wouldn't give a crap if I was sitting home and I was watching TV and cheering for him, or getting the phone call like, you're still there. Like, that might be kind of exciting to see Paulie do Paulie without even me. And I could come back, or I could be on All Stars, or I could be somewhere else, and we could take turns being home, rooting for each other, managing the business while the other person's gone, whatever. There's so many opportunities to be had, and there's so many bombs to blow up with us that
I mean, I think mainly I think that the story of a return of us together. There's too much unfinished business for us with a lot of people, where it just makes sense. Like, to me, I sit there and I try to put myself in the minds of the producers, the way that some of the greats say that they do, but I don't think they do. And I sit there and I'm like, so when they pin on the wall like 100 names, right? Because then they got to like cut it down to whatever. When they pin on the wall 100 names and they start to be like, all right, what is the dynamic between this castmate and this castmate and this? When you have mine and Cara's faces right there, you could put us right in the middle.
Yeah.
And you could draw lines to almost every single person that we have done seasons together with and be like, there's beef there, there's drama there, there's fucking anger there, there's animosity there. They're friends with this person, but how good of friends are they? All right, they're definitely ride or dies with these people, but, you know, how's it going to shape out? I mean, they threw us on War of the Worlds 2 with no friends other than Cam Kaylee.
Yep.
And we formed a powerhouse alliance out of that, right? Well, Cam and I did.
They called it Cara's cult, but it was.
Yeah, Cam and I but it's like, I did that, and I remember sitting in my final interviews, you know, being like, man, I can't wait until next season to see how this plays out. And this was after I lost and everything, you know. So obviously I'm doing the interviews and I'm talking to the producers being like, man, I can't wait to see how next season plays out. Given the format, if a good chunk of all of us come back, how's it going to shake up? They called us layups for an entire season. When I found out the format of Total Madness being like, yo, individual season, you know, I was excited. I was already talking shit to them at the reunion being like, hey, next season's individual, so you guys who have called us all layups, you're going to have to fucking back it up.
Not to mention, just side note about...
And just to mind you, Nani and Josh were in your fucking alliance, and you called us layups.
And we had Ninja, who was the first girl to finish like the hardest final that there's ever been. You know, that War of the Worlds 1 was brutal. So Ninja's severely underestimated. Cam's a beast. Ashley is a 2-time winner. I'm a 2-time winner. We're the layups. You know what I mean? He's like a daily winner champion. But anyways, I think now I especially agree with him, you know, with us being on a season together would be a good move, as much as I would love to see him ride solo. Because we're in a different time. It's been years since we've been on, and what people saw of us was the beginning, you know, like the cringy beginning part of a relationship. Now we're like old soldiers. We're like good friends. You know what I mean? We know what we got to do. We're all the same wavelength. He has been with me through like the worst of the worst shit mentally that I've been through. Yeah, and, it's you know, we're on a different level of understanding. So it would be it'd be a good palate cleanser for people to see the Cara and Paulie now, you know what I mean? As opposed to those first couple seasons that we started dating.
I mean, shit, social media was lit when we were on the show. It was like, I didn't even realize, like, I could go on Twitter or Instagram and just drop one thing, knowing, like, that I was being an asshole, and it would just cause a fire. Like I would get stuff for the entire week. Like the show would air on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'd get shit through the weekend. Be like, just caught up on the challenge. Fuck you, Paulie. You're a dickhead. And I'd be like I would get that up until the next episode aired, and I'm like,
do you still get that?
I'm like, that's kind of no. Now I get like, yo, I underappreciated you. I should have appreciated.
It's like I used to. It's like I'm not a fan of Paulie, but maybe with the show could use him.
Everybody teeters on that line now, where it's like, I just want to say this by saying I hate Paulie, but and I'm like, you could admit that you kind of miss me. It's all right now, like, but like that's also like what's missing. Like I don't see any castmates like able to like start a fire and have that fire burn just to dim out for the next episode to air to then create the fire again. Like it was like every week. It was fucking hilarious. Even if you go on the social media for like the Instagram and the Twitter, like back when we were in there, like the comments just like endless. What the fuck are they doing? Fuck them. Fuck them.
You just post a picture.
I love it.
Just post a picture of us, and there will be like 1,000 comments of
the
like
engagement was
hate us,
the engagement was there though. Like you look at the social accounts now, like where's the engagement? Where is it? It's bad. It's like at an all-time low, and that to me is reflective on the fact of what Cher said, where she's like, I used to cut out my time to like get here, get there, and do that. And like now everybody's just kind of like, I could go a month without watching the current season. Like, and then I'll just catch up. Like, no, people tuned in each episode that we did to make sure that they could let us know either we were fucking awesome or they hated us.
It's definitely I've been getting a lot of that feedback from people, and that's disappointing that's what's happening with the challenge. Because I know, like I said, the producers are bosses, the challengers are bosses, TJ's a boss. Yeah. I know they're putting out great stuff. It's just the castmates aren't performing to what the challenge needs and what the fans want, to be honest. And I really hope the gods are listening to the fans and what they want to see and who they want to see. Because I'm just saying.
I remember people from other networks would chime in to fucking trash us. It was fucking hilarious. It was the best. I would sit there and I'd be like, oh, some fucking loser from Bachelor Nation just tweeted at me. Be like, oh, somebody from Love Island or Temptation Island just like tweeted at me with their fucking girlfriend, like whatever. I'm like, this is fucking great. Now everybody like hypes each other up. It's like, hey, you guys tried your best. You guys really tried your
Everybody
best.
Gets a trophy.
Like I would tell her, I'd be like, yo, I'm about to like drop this fucking tweet and it's going to piss off these 20 people. And it's gonna be fucking hilarious. And it would just happen, and like those people just immediately start like all saying the same shit. I'm like, look at them fucking go. Like now, like they like will text each other before. Hey, is it okay if I tweet this about you? It's like, yeah, you tweet that, and then I'll respond with this, and then blah blah blah. It's like,
but the fans see through it though. I think like 90% of the fans. Every now and then somebody will fall for it. But most fans see through everything that these people are doing. So the fans aren't stupid. So
you need a good protagonist and an antagonist.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh, my Reddit browsing was at an all-time high when you guys were there. It's like, oh, what happened with? Because you post the pictures like, what happened? What's the latest Paulie and Cara lore that's out there? And Cher and I, we would always tweet each other like, did you watch the show? Like literally an hour ago. And now it's like, hey, did you watch it? Like, we got a show to do. We got to review it. Did you watch it last night? Like, we would live tweet it, and now it's like, oh, okay, make sure you actually watch it this week.
I've heard that from people that even write articles on it, that they're like,
look, I 100%, I'm sure I said, Paulie, you were a dick, and I'm sure I didn't like you, Cara, at the last season you were on.
I was the only one. We gotta tell them the origin of the PowerPoint that got them here is that they didn't like you on the last season. So basically, we did the All-Stars. We did an All-Stars draft, and the whoever didn't win had to do a PowerPoint presentation on the challenger they didn't enjoy. So they chose you two, and I chose Josh. But
I did not. I did not. I chose Josh.
No.
I chose Josh.
Cher chose Josh. I chose you guys. You guys weren't likable. You were not likable.
Not in the last season, no.
No.
But we weren't. I mean, it's a TV show, you know.
And I said, I said it in the PowerPoint.
Person, Josh is just unlikable, but you guys are just
Yes.
I know Josh in real life. I don't like him. So I didn't like him when I met him. I don't like him, but I know him in real life, and he, you know what I mean? Like I can say these things. I'm not watching a TV show and judging a character. I'm judging an actual person that I've met. I don't like him. So, but on that last season, it's crazy because if you were to see it through, it was basically told through the story of the group that we were sending home.
Everybody else, yes.
So through their eyes were the villains, and fans saw it through their eyes. They didn't see it through our eyes. Otherwise, you know what I mean? The other people would have been the villains. The people that were throwing challenges to send us home. The people that were shit-talking us in the bus and making fun of us. The people that were making my friends cry in the house by just being assholes and constantly degrading certain men, constantly degrading the woman in the house. There was one of the individuals making his fiance cry, got a chair dropped on her head. She was hurt. She was injured. There was a lot of things that happened in the house that were levels of violent. There was levels of severe, just like the way that you disparage someone or knock them down or make them feel like shit constantly within your own team. And then, then he turned shit around and these people were in a corner. But you only
in hindsight, I wish I threw more of my alliance in elimination.
He did, because
like when I think back on shit, I'm like, how could I have just like been a shit starter even more? And it was just been like towards the end where I'm like, well, there's no fucking way I'm going into elimination. Just being like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Rogan, you're going in. Or like CT, you're going in. Or like, Ashley, I want to see you have a meltdown. You're going in. That would be fucking great. But that's just me like looking back. In the moment, I wasn't going to do it.
It would have made maybe, would have been better TV. But yeah, so you only saw things, the fans only saw things from the other point of view. There was a lot of things that I saw that I did not think were cool. And you know how I am, I fake it.
Yeah.
So I behaved accordingly, and you only saw the behavior, not what led to it.
And 100%, like anybody who watched that season knows you guys, they control the editing, and you guys were edited to be the villains. And when I did the PowerPoint, I said that, like, they may have been the villains, but they were great at it. And that's what we're missing is like,
no, you're great.
I don't care because I'm like, if I could capture the entire audience, everybody's watching the fucking
right. Exactly. Like
everyone pays attention when you guys are on screen, and you're good competitors, and that's what they should want.
And that was the other point I made is like they're the villains, but they're great at it because I actually want to see them lose. It's fun. It's good to watch them lose.
If you're rooting for me to win or rooting for me to lose, you're feeling something about me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? As opposed to like, oh, she's this filler.
And we should at least make it to a point where like where the loss is like fucking magnified. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you're the villain and you go home like at the halfway point, then it's like,
Are you really?
But like if you're making it to like that point where it's like, fuck, they're about to win and I'm going to hate this season. And lose, and you're like, oh my god,
hey!
they fucking lost.
And that's what we've missed.
Like when the Giants beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
We have the best. Like our story would be the greatest. It'd be like, oh, me and Paulie would be like, couple champions. I'd get my third championship. Ashley'd get her third championship. Cam and Leroy would get their first win as a couple. Like, I'm like, the only person you don't really care about maybe is Zach. On our who cares?
It's always Zach.
Whatever. But I mean, she'd get her first win, and she's still kind of a rookie. It's like there was so much with us getting a win that I thought that I really saw.
Listen, I thought it was in the bag until we showed up, and they were like, "Team USA, you have more weight, but the same amount of people have to carry the gurney." And I was like, "The fuck?"
At that point, it's a TV show, though. You know what I mean? It's a TV show. Yeah. So you just gotta, and the problem is like we were too competitive and too stubborn, and we don't. We need to just play along, I think, is the thing. And I'm totally down to.
I'm a fucking math and science nerd, all right? And like, I guess, Old English literature. So like when I was trying to like get the math to like play out where like with the way that it was getting explained, I was like, the math ain't mathing, y'all. Like, it really like 300 pounds on 4 people is still going to feel like 300 pounds on 4 people. versus 100 pounds on 4 people.
The other team
is going to feel like 100 pounds on 4 people.
They were running with their gurney. They were just jogging with their gurney.
Yeah,
we barely lift it on our shoulders.
We couldn't fucking run. The shit was breaking on our shoulders.
I was like, why are we being punished for winning challenges and having more people make it to the end? Wasn't that the point?
But yeah, it didn't really make much sense, but
the point is,
I got made to feel like shit the whole season. Every time I threw in like one of our teammates, it's like, are you sure you want to keep doing this? And I'm like, yes.
Apparently we should have done it more.
And then like at the end, it was like,
apparently we should have gone to the final with people. Like, so, but at the end of the day, the fans, for the most part, were happy. So it was a good TV show, right?
Yes.
Which
everybody
is the
got
point
the ending they wanted.
of the challenge. Everybody got the ending that they want. The fans got the ending they wanted. My bank account didn't, but it is what it is. And instead of being,
I actually was cheering for you guys that season.
I could have done differently. I'm just going to be like, fuck yeah, let's do it again next season. You know, like maybe the odds will be in my favor.
For me, I always cheer whatever team Cara's on because I've always related to you and watching you grow through everything. I was in an abusive marriage. And so like seeing you come out of that and become the strong person on the inside and outside that you are now, I always cheer for you. Like you are always the one that I'm for.
Do you know how many women messaged me just seeing like glimpses of what I'd been through? Because I never fully came out and like talked about my story. And I think that I will, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're a strong woman. You're this, you're that. And I'm like, but am I really? Because I haven't opened up about something that I know can help so many people. It's like people think they know. And I've, because, you know, when you're in something like that, you're like, so long of it. If you try to explain it, people only see the charming side. They only see the funny side. They only see the winner. They don't see what goes on behind closed doors. And it's like, then you make excuses like, well, maybe if I acted differently, or if I didn't say this, or if I didn't do that, or if I did do this, he wouldn't have done that. And it's like, you play these mental gymnastics with yourself for so long, and other people will gaslight you for so long. Like even when I did try to come out in different things about different things that had happened to me, it was like quieted by people. And I was the bad guy, and I was the slut, and I was the whore. And it was like, so I just took all that guilt and took everything on myself as being the bad person, when in reality, like the shit that I fucking went through in this relationship is not okay. Like there is not one thing that is okay. And it happened leading up to, you know, before the whole Thomas incident on Bloodlines, like a lot of shit that was not okay. And then it got worse after he was able to hold that over my head. And not only that, but then, you know, comes the rebound guy who, you know, I actually opened up to about minuscule part of the bad things that have happened to me with the former relationship. And then, you know, he got physical with me and on the show. And even when I tried to explain that or talk about it, I was quieted. I was shushed because this guy's funny. He's a good guy. Who cares? So the shit that I have been through, I am ready to open up because I feel like it will help so many people. And I think the time that has passed, especially with my former relationship, like his wife coming out and being like, she was only married for like a year, 2 years.
Very short amount of time, yeah.
I was honestly like, hey, you know, maybe it was me. Maybe we just were bad for each other. And it's like when she came out with glimpses of her story, I was like, that's fucking, like that's it. Like I'm not, you know, not only did I have therapists tell me I'm, you know, it's what happened to me was wrong and I was not the bad guy, but now I have her coming out validating my experiences. And I'm like, now if I come out and validate my own experiences again, I feel like it's just going to help other people even more. And so I'm ready to do that. That will be coming out eventually. I think I finally have my strength to speak on some stuff now. So you can be ready for that at least, even if you don't get to see me compete.
Oh yes, for sure.
Which I also feel like that would be a great comeback story. But I'm not a fucking producer, you know. Like I don't, you know, like I don't work in you know, the behind the scenes.
Definitely
things,
feel like women are.
You know,
I definitely feel like the women are there's different standards.
Yes,
that you can see. So.
For sure.
we all hope to see you competing on some iteration of the challenge. I don't think they want you on All Stars, Cara, against the rest of those females because it wouldn't be much of a series if you're there. No offense to the other females on that show, but they don't want to put you on that.
All they have to do is give me a math problem.
every challenge would just be a math problem.
Your girl can swim. Like I can swim. It ain't a thing. I can run. I can lift. I can haul brawl. I can whatever the heck I gotta do. But you throw a math problem at me, it's you never know. You never know.
They don't want to put you on. They don't want to put you on that one, and then it's just like, well, we know who's winning this one. Let's just focus on the male side of things. But guys, where can
things people know who's winning? Well,
where can they? First off, thank you guys for doing this. You're very gracious with your time.
Yes.
Paulie, you reached out after you saw the clip last week, and we appreciate it because we're big challenge fans, and we had a blast doing this. You're welcome back anytime. I know we could have talked we had a million more questions for you guys. So thank you again for doing this. Thank you again for your time. Maybe next time the lighting will be fixed. We won't have to use Paulie's decade-old Surface Pro.
That's a reason to come back on the show when the lighting.
She's going to make him set up that new Surface Pro now.
Next time we come back, hopefully it'll be to talk about what we just did.
Yes.
On a season.
Wait, tell me about your. This is you guys are tell them about the fighter event you have coming up.
Oh, I mean, my company's. I'm putting on our first boxing promotion out in Montana, so I'm excited.
Oh.
The business. I mean, we've had time off, but the businesses have flourished.
He's been
in this time off.
it.
So when we come back, there's literally nothing anybody can hold over our heads. We're just going back to win. The money isn't even a thing anymore.
So I gotta say, just side note before we leave, credit to Paulie not only dealing with me and my shit and figuring out who the hell I am, not being on the challenge because I didn't even have 2 months off between challenges. I was just I didn't even unpack from one show before I had to kind of rearrange my shit and leave for the next show. So I've had so much time off, and it's in that time, I've always known myself as Cara from the challenge, Cara with a horse. My horse passed away. And then conveniently, I think as soon as my horse passed away, Amanda got cast. They thought they must have reminded them that she was a good. Anyway, a lot of hurtful things have happened to me. But my horse passed away, and then and I wasn't on the challenge anymore, and I just was like, who the hell am I? What do I do? Who even am I anymore? Do I just go bartend now? What do I do? And Paulie was launching his company. He manages tons of really kick-ass, badass models, and he went through the gambit of ups and downs with that business. The events that he's throwing on, I'm really excited about the Montana one. That's going to be awesome. And he I used to do a little photography, and that's where I have a lot of love of the art of photography. And I've been doing that for his girls in the business, along with other clients that have been booking me. And it's I've been able to find my happiness again. And he got me on a horse again recently too. So there's just a lot of
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I've been finding we're in a really good place, and I hope the next time we get to chat with you guys, it's about all the cool things that we're doing, and hopefully about
hopefully it's about my first win.
His first win.
And about challenge champions. Yeah.
Yes.
I need it. Okay, I can't go down as Dan Marino.
You could still be the heel. You can be the heel. You don't gotta be.
I'll listen. I don't care if I'm the heel as long as there's a belt. Heels had belts too. Hulk Hogan had belts.
There you go.
It's true. Right. And I don't care what the hell I am. You know me. Just no bullshit.
She just wants to compete.
Yeah. But thank you guys for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Let everyone know where they can find you at, whether on social media or plug the Montana event. Anything you guys want to throw out there to plug.
Yeah, so you can find me at Paulie Calafiore _ on everything, and then the company handles are the 10 Productions and the 10 Management. So,
and for me, Cara Maria Photography, if you want to check out my work or if you want to book with me, because I do travel a lot, and Miss Cara Maria. And I'm only on Instagram. Don't do Twitter. I am on the TikTok, though. Miss Cara Maria on the TikTok. I'm learning it.
I got to follow you on TikTok now.
Learning it. It's more fun. And then, yes, the next time we chat, I'm going to make sure that this computer of his from 10 years ago is thrown in the little storage river, and we use something else. It'll be dramatically different.
I have the new computer literally sitting right next to my workstation.
He uses
I just have not put it up.
to put his books on. He has not yet opened it.
Classic.
I'm like, and meanwhile, he turns this thing on. He's like, come on, we have a podcast. Oh, don't give me shit. Come on, internet, connect. And I'm
I have a connection to the Surface Pro, all right? We get each other.
I'm going to throw this in the
You can keep it. You just maybe don't need to use it all the time.
Yeah.
They can hold the books.
Yes, they can hold the books. They might have more sentimental than to hold the books. Again, thank you guys for coming on. We really appreciate it. Guys, fans, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time here on a special